I don't want to share my screen with my audience. Why is the camera being so strange? Yep. I'm coming to you live from a giant tub of Vaseline. Come the fuck on. YouTube's camera settings are weird. Do I just put it on? Like when I shot the light at myself. Maybe it's a lighting issue. Okay, so that is my number one pet peeve with opening things and beginning speeches or talks or lectures. Like, know what you're here for or just don't. I can see the camera is struggling with the focusing. I am experiencing euphoria in the sense that I recognize my own face and body, and I quite like what I'm seeing, which is profound for me personally. I've gone most of my life not wanting to see myself. A bit like when you hear your own voice. Like, I still don't like hearing my own voice. But now I can stand the sight of my own face, which is quite a powerful feeling to be having. The camera doesn't quite know what to do. Or is that YouTube? So I normally use TikTok, but I'm kind of concerned about the app and YouTube itself. This is a platform, as we all know, is garbage. Anyone who's worth their salt is running a Patreon and amassing whatever income they can get through that, and then uploading stuff onto here purely as a point of public access. So I'm not someone that's trying to do social media as a way of making money. I don't have that skill, talent, or pizzazz. But what I do have is a book on overcoming low self-esteem. And in this book, it talks about how self-criticism blocks learning and growth, and, self-critical thoughts can hold us back from being able to do things we want to do. I don't want to do like content creation like this. I want to live. I want to do things that make me happy. I want to lose some weight. And my plan for today was to get out of bed, go for a run, and that didn't happen because I stayed awake until stupid o'clock in the morning, tidying up bits in my room and playing games and just avoiding being a responsible adult. And I get that I've got burnout, and I get that I'm frustrated. But what I don't get is, what is it that I want? Like, I am 30-something years old. I've lived in 13 different places in my life. I described it once to someone as feeling like a tree without roots. You know the flying castle of Laputa, where the tree flies away? That's how I feel. And it infuriates me that that I can't develop the healthy habits to achieve the goals I want. And it's incorrect that I can't. It's a question of, can I? Can I draw a line? Can I say to myself, right, tonight we're not staying awake until 3 a.m. Tonight we are going to bed. Tonight we will be in that bed I've actually made for once. I found some cuddly toys and dumped them there. But it's, I think I can do it. And then, if I get up on time at 6 a.m. or whatever, then I can go for a run or a jog or whatever, you know. Like, to put it in perspective, I weigh about, like, what does it say on there? About 80 kilograms. But I've weighed that since I was 20. My weight has remained the same my whole life. I'm trying to do. Okay, there's too much of the ceiling there. There's too much of the Vaseline. You know what I mean? Like, am I trying to record? Come on, focus, camera. I need to play with this actual camera. Like, really play with it. Really get in there and be like, right, how do you work? Oops. So, like, been on hormones for about just over 2 years now. And there are changes happening, but I've got this. Like, if I stand up straight, like, it's not really there. But to tone this, I apparently need to start swimming. Look at me in the UK, learning to swim in this political climate. Fuck no. Like, I wouldn't do it. You'd have to be insane. Because everyone can scream about us. To us in untruths. What I'm trying to say is, being queer, managing your self-esteem is a continual uphill battle. But from my personal experience, it's worth it. I have never felt more alive. I was in China on a toboggan going down the Great Wall, and I didn't feel present. I was like, I've been places, done things, seen things. I remember seeing like bands live and just being detached the whole time. There is no word for the type of pain and grief that like a trans person experiences when they finally feel alive and realize they could have had this their whole life if they had the words. So when people are going, oh, you know, there's no such thing as like a queer kid or a trans kid or whatever, there are, but going back a few years or decades, we didn't have the word. But because now trans people are so heavily, highly targeted, because the hatred is so very real and present, everyone is seeing it, which means even the kids are seeing it, and the kids are going, hey, what's that person? And you'll say to them, oh, this is someone that was born this way and self-identifies another, and then the kid might go, oh, I think I'm having those thoughts. Well, then they can explore the questions and have the ideas, and that's fine. That doesn't mean they're gonna be trans, but it does mean that by hating such a vulnerable group in such a visceral way means you're exposing the very people you claim to not want to ever expose us to. If you were just quiet and let us live our lives, they would grow up like I did, never knowing until they hit 30. which isn't ideal, and I don't wish that on anyone. But I'm just saying that by trying to persecute a specific group of people, you're making them more prevalent and more present than ever before in the history of ever. I've lost one of my earrings, so I'm just slightly annoyed. It's hard talking to a camera. It's hard doing this stuff. And I'm doing it for me. I am doing this. I am doing this for a bunch of reasons. I'm doing it, one, because I want there to be like some sort of factual record of my existence. I want there to be a piece of living history. This is the thing that YouTube and the internet gives us that other generations didn't have, which means your words online can become a piece of living history that can be referred to and seen back even when you're gone. That's something I really appreciate. And the loss of MySpace, tremendous loss, because I did so much of my exploration on there as a teenager, as a young adult. I kept all my blogs in a separate file. I've got most of them, but I never saved like the evidence of what was or how far I reached. Or, I was only able to find like one of the friends that I made on there in America, and I'm UK based. And we were able to remain friends on Facebook. But even this website could vanish. Even like the biggest names on the internet could vanish tomorrow because of money. They could simply go, oh, we don't have the money to keep this service on anymore. Boom, gone. Google itself has like a graveyard of projects. And this feeds into the anxiety that our generation and the younger generations have. And the older generations are probably feeling it a bit too. A lot of them are waking up and realizing that nothing is set in stone. Even the very stone can be sold off and outsourced and broken down. And we are having this terrifying realization of impermanence that in other cultures, impermanence is known. For example, China. Where I worked, people knew the school they were in was going to be demolished in a few years and replaced. People knew that roads and neighborhoods were going to be renovated and changed. Evolution and impermanence is a natural part of growth. But take America and England, for example. England prides itself on just being ancient and time immemorial. That's where the City of London Corporation draws its authority to exist from time immemorial. And we live in a county where the buses no longer exist. Like they cut them all for my village. And we've still got a train station, but the doctor's surgery is gone. And so all these vital services that I grew up with as a child that helped me connect with the world and be present in the world as just a normal child, those have gone. So if you're young and queer, or even an adult and queer, right? If you don't know how to drive, public transport is one of the things you're going to be using. And it's gone. So what fills the gap of connection? And this is where the internet comes in. This is where like going live comes in, and it can be powerful. This is to say, I've not done much today. I played Fable. I did the arena. Made my bed. Went to the shops for one of my siblings. Yesterday I did something big. I actually asked someone for support. And I got support, so that was nice. I think the thing I really want is I just want the ability to like make myself look a bit more well presented. I'm constantly feeling disappointed in myself for not putting in some effort for how I look, for how I could look. I feel ugly is what I'm saying. And it gives me tremendous levels of grief. And I don't want to be pretty for the world or for anyone else. I just want to look beautiful for me. But I don't hate my face anymore. And I'm happy with that. And I'll close this there. I'll probably stick these to just 15 minutes. I'll try and do like one a day, maybe. What's this? I can share screen. I could do that. I could do photos of my previous self and show the changes. Good night. Take care. Drink water and remember, these online platforms are safe spaces for white supremacists and nasty people. So don't sit on them too long.